Cruising on the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady, we ate some incredible meals. But what if you're not in a gourmet mood? What if you just want a casual bite, or say, a hot dog? Let's see. Virgin prides themselves on staying away from typical cruise buffet fare with their unique approach of a food court. Located on Deck 15, the Galley has sushi, tacos, salad, noodles, sandwiches, burgers, diner food, and more. All day long you can stop in for beverages, and the seating came with incredible views, but even more impressive were the charging ports at the tables. Now remember, we are both gluten and dairy free, so let's see how Virgin takes on dietary restrictions. It all starts on embarkation day.
So we came to the Galley for a little snack upon embarkation, and we stopped by the bento box first. They have sushi, and we asked if they know if any of them are gluten-free, and both of the attendants, who are not chefs, said that only the cucumber avocado roll is gluten-free, but nothing else. And I was like, oh, weird, but okay. And the guy said, oh yeah, the girl said they use soy in the preparation of the other ones. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah, you can't have the salmon, it has meat. I was like, well, meat in and of itself doesn't have gluten? My question is more, is the sushi rice prepared in a way that has gluten? And they didn't know the answer to that. And so later on the menu they gave us when we sat down, it doesn't list any of the sushi as gluten-free. So unfortunately we picked up 2 bento boxes of the avocado cucumber roll, and we're not going to eat them. But Nick got the pescado tacos because they do say gluten-free.
Mm-hmm. The tacos were labeled gluten-free, and they asked us what our allergens were when we ordered it, so we were safe. That's really good.
It's like a panna cotta consistency. It's not just an acai bowl.
Exactly like the panna cotta.
Mm-hmm. And the granola on top almost has like a green, I don't know if it's like matcha or a green smoothie powder. Like there's something green to it. Coconutty, but it even looks green, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
It tastes yummy and refreshing and good for you. Take a look at behind me. There's a few people. I'm so used to embarkation days having a buffet that's a mob scene. And this, first off, is not a buffet, it's a food court. But also, it's not that crowded. It's really nice. And then Nick went to the salad station. What did you get?
I got mixed greens, quinoa, chickpeas, green beans, green olives, tuna with a balsamic vinaigrette.
Kind of like a niçoise.
Kind of like a slight, like half niçoise.
Like a Mediterranean niçoise. Wait,
yeah.
Niçoise is Mediterranean already.
In the unlikely event of an emergency, we ask that you watch our Safety Rocks video on your in-cabin television or on the Virgin Voyages app before checking in at your assembly station. Crew members wearing Marshall hats in a very fashion-forward shade of purple will be at your assembly station to check you in and answer any questions you may have.
And that is one of the only overhead announcements you'll ever hear on a Virgin Voyage. Now let's see what we had for a few breakfasts. The Galley was a favorite breakfast option.
That one on the end is the gluten-free toaster.
Got a bagel and tomato. What is these crinkled bagels? And I got an egg to put on top with some salt and pepper. These bagels are biscuits.
They kind of are.
They're biscuits with a hole in the middle. I'm not mad about it. This reminds me of like a McDonald's biscuit sandwich, but in a better way. And a gluten-free, dairy-free way. So Nick went to Grounds Club and got some coffee for me. I got a vanilla almond milk latte today. 1, it's way sweet, but 2, worth noting that they, for eco-friendly reasons, are using reusable cups, which is great, except I can't really take it with me, but I guess I can't take it off the ship anyway. Hot beverages do come in disposable cups. It feels like in a food court setting, you're going to have to be running around in multiple stations and waiting in multiple lines, but you don't because you're not the one doing it. The staff brings it to you, you order it on the app, and you can go and ask questions and pick up things from some spots, but for the most part, they do all that work for you. So it's not extra work to be a food court versus a buffet.
The other thing I mentioned to Laura is that because it's ordered, there's a little bit more economy to what you have for breakfast. I know if it were a breakfast buffet, I'd have like a platter of eggs, and
Right.
3 hash browns, and
My
2
plate's
vegan
always
sausages.
just a giant mountain of.
And then I eat all of that.
I know, and I'm like, oh, I'll take that too. Sure, why not? A little extra, why not? And it ends up being way more than I need to eat.
Whereas this was like a nice small breakfast, and if I wanted to have a feast, then I would go
I
to
could have
one of
ordered
the-
more.
Yeah, and I also could have gone to one of the sit-down brunches, but this was great.
The Galley was so good, we had it for breakfast again and again. There were some new discoveries, like this vegan chia seed blueberry pudding made with coconut milk. By the third breakfast, we discovered the gorgeous views from the outdoor seating in the back of the Galley. Truly stunning.
On the quick meals, you can also see there's some allergens listed. We verified that these are dairy-free.
It's very like honey and cinnamon. I don't know that they actually have honey because you don't need to add any sweetener to dates. But it's almost a molassesy flavor. One of the tricky things about the Galley is the different elements of your meal may come from different booths and things. My avocado toast came to me, but I wanted an egg on it. So I had to get my poached eggs separately, and I'll just add them myself. Oh, goodness. That is perfect. We both agreed that the one shortcoming of this space was how little was available during off-peak times. At night, the late-night diner breakfast was available, but not much else. What did you find?
Orange. No scurvy.
These are such an interesting way of delivering room service. These look like the waterproof wet bags we would take kayaking, and you unpack them with your room service in them. Room service was a great way for us to make use of that sweet aft suite balcony. Okay, what did you order for us?
So I got an order for me: scrambled eggs, potatoes, smoked salmon, some gluten-free toast. For you, egg white frittata, spinach, mushrooms. We got 2 fruit plates because apparently there was a run on fruit.
And a blueberry muffin.
So we have a couple question marks, to be honest. The fruit plate, why would it be, is not labeled in any way vegan or gluten-free. Obviously, the fruit is. I feel confident about that. I don't know about the bars. And then the blueberry muffin is labeled gluten-free, but it doesn't say that it's vegan, but it probably has egg in it, but I don't know if it has dairy in it. It's not labeled sufficiently. I will say we put in our allergen markings for wheat and for dairy, so maybe it's all okay.
But I would like to hear someone say that, like know that they read the notes.
It's hard to know over room service.
It makes me nervous. And from the condiments, they gave us little tins of jelly, blueberry, and a little tin with sugar cubes. And we got a thermos of coffee, hot water for tea, and almond milk.
I'm so impressed with how little to basically no single-use items are involved in any of this. I mean, everything is reusable.
Nick just took his first sip of coffee and said, wow, and handed it to me so I could try it because it is really so good. And that's just the drip coffee. This gluten-free toast is really like squishy and bendy, which is not normal for gluten-free toast. Our only hiccup with room service was the fact that by ordering on the tablet instead of by phone, it was hard to verify that anyone read the note about our dietary restrictions. You may have to advocate for yourself further if necessary. As great as the standard coffee was on board, we got a specialty coffee almost every day. The Grounds Club crafted some beautiful beverages and occasionally had some gluten-free muffins. We even went to a coffee tasting class. Note, there's also a smaller location, Grounds Club 2, located within the Galley. Up on deck 16, right next to Richard's Rooftop and overlooking the pool, is the Sun Club Cafe, making my pool day light lunch dreams a reality. That's amazing. That's what cruise lunches should be. Not a bunch of fried foods like some poolside fast food joint. Fresh, beautiful veggie-driven fresh fish poke bowls. I'm not hungry at all, but it is so good. Nick agrees. They said that normally the salmon poke bowl comes with a black rice, but it wasn't ready yet because they were just opening for the day. So I got white rice, and it's still delish and very hot because it's very fresh. But the little bursts of tobiko and the big fresh leaves of cilantro are really what make it.
So I asked about the tuna bowl, and they weren't certain that it was gluten-free based on some of the ingredients that were involved. Rather than have to like call down and do a whole thing, I said, can I just get the salmon bowl elements, but instead with tuna as the fish? And they were like, oh yeah, that's no problem. There we go.
Need a sweet treat? Of course, there has to be ice cream. We were hot when we got back from our port day, and so we decided to come get some ice cream. I just wanted to mention that all the ice creams are really well labeled for which ones are vegetarian. I know the idea of a not vegetarian ice cream sounds weird, but sometimes they use eggs in the flavors, I guess. And which ones are gluten-free. There are a few of those marked. And then there was a dairy-free vegan option today, which is kind of sorbet-y, but it was a really nice sorbet. Not like, I mean, sometimes mango sorbets just seem like mango and ice, but this was really good, really creamy, and we double checked to make sure it was gluten-free too, because it didn't say so on the label. But it was the good option for us, and we got a nice treat. We stopped for another ice cream. This one's called Green Machine, and she said it has kiwi and green apple and avocado. So gluten-free, vegan, avocado-containing ice cream. It's really good. The green apple comes through a lot, I think. That's the primary flavor for me. But what if you want a fast food fix? Down by the arcade, The Social on Deck 7 has fair food like hot dogs, shakes, nachos, and popcorn. When I was little, my parents had an air popper, and they would make fresh popcorn and sprinkle salt in it. And this is that flavor. I'm getting flashbacks. Because it's very, very fresh, but it's not covered in like the yellow butter powder you get at a movie theater. They have a big case of fun desserts, but our wholesaling, none of them were gluten and dairy free, except maybe the apples. That's okay, because we figured out a way to make the hot dogs work for us. I like the sausage.
That's what she said. Nothing, everything you say about a hot dog review is going to end with that's what she said.
It's a Beyond sausage, which is already pretty spicy. So to put spicy mayo on it just adds to the spicy. But the mayo helps a lot because the gluten-free bun is pretty dry, but that's expected because it's a gluten-free bun. I get Beyond sausages at Disney a lot, and they cook them until they get kind of a more firm texture. And here it's pretty soft, like the skin isn't crispy in any kind of way. Still a good quick bite. Quick is relative because it's a special diet. We did have to wait a while for it to come up. They had to order the bun from somewhere else and have it delivered. The dockhouse on Deck 7 was a place we identified as our spot the first time we ever experienced a Virgin Voyages ship. Everything is cool and coastal with a Mediterranean flair. And I'd argue the outdoor seating rivals Richard's Rooftop for views and atmosphere. Nick went for a complimentary special offering one afternoon.
Out in the dockhouse on the deck is the Opa Hour, which actually has 3 different menus all going at the same time. There's a meat menu, there's a special Opa Hour menu, which is Greek, and there's a secret vegan cart. Pretty much everything is able to be modified more or less to be able to match everything. So I got a cauliflower rice with nuts and herbs. I got a spicy watermelon with pumpkin seeds. I got I don't know what it's called. It's like walnut and pomegranate and paprika as a mix. It's delicious. It's probably the best thing on the
table so far. There's a beet hummus, there's regular hummus, there's baba ganoush, there's a chocolate hummus, there's a cod schnitzel. I also had a chicken thigh, and everything's great. I think the walnut pomegranate thing is probably the best, but I haven't tried the chocolate hummus yet. So, there you go. Originally I got enough so that it would be for both of us, but I'm the only one here so far, so I'm gonna have to finish it all on my own, I guess.
Okay, I'm truly sorry I missed this one. Between the live music and the cool setting, I give the Doghouse 5 stars. Sip Lounge is the champagne bar filled with old Hollywood glamour and playing all the classic standards. Their afternoon tea is for an additional fee, $35 with champagne or $19 without bubbly. And there's a number of teas and treats to choose from. But this event was not without its hiccups. I haven't had a white chocolate in over 2 years. I always loved white chocolate covered pretzels and fruit, and this is so good. This cluster has cashews, and it looks like walnuts, and there's some kind of dried fruit in there as well. It's really yummy, and it's like a semi-sweet chocolate. It might be cherries, it might be something akin to cherries, but the gold dust on it is so pretty. Look at this beautiful, the base of it is like a chocolate, looks like a crispy treat. I think it's time to move on. Guys, traveling with dietary restrictions is a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. So our Rockstar agent said she called in advance and coordinated so we could have afternoon tea and that they would have something ready for us. And then when we got there, they served us a gluten-free tray where every single item looked like it had dairy in it. And so a chef came out and talked to us and said they were going to call down to the managing chef. They ended up taking away the tray and bringing back a few little chocolate items for us and said they would take the charge off of our bill, but that it would be a while before they would get anything beyond the little chocolate things for us. And then we waited for an hour and decided it was time to just walk away. So I don't know if eventually some gluten-free, dairy-free tea sandwiches showed up, but I think they just gave up on us and walked away. The pizza place has a surprisingly gourmet menu for their pizza, and what we think is the best music on the whole ship. But can they do gluten-free and dairy-free pizza? This seating outside the pizza place is a hidden gem. It feels almost like a private little porch.
Yeah.
And you get pizza. It's so, I don't understand. And so we said, well, we're starving. Let's go to the pizza place. And we ordered the vegan pizza with a gluten-free crust. There's no way, man. One of two things is happening. Either there's dairy in that cheese that they put on that pizza, or I will give them any one of my 3 kids to give me the recipe for that cheese that tasted like real mozzarella, because I've not in 2 years had something that tasted like that. But there's no way. I will test it. I will go back and order another vegan pizza just to verify that. I mean, I asked them, what kind of vegan cheese do you use? And they said coconut, and there's no way. There's no way. But, you know, yesterday we were talking with Hannah at dinner, our server at dinner, and we said, Hannah, how is the sorbet so creamy? Because most sorbets are fruit and ice, and they taste like they're just fruit and ice. And she told us what they put in it that make it so creamy, and she knew exactly what the ingredients were. So if someone like Hannah was around to tell me what was in that pizza and to 100% verify for me that they double and triple checked. Even our server this morning was excellent. We were really not sure about the banana muffins, and she said, I double and triple checked. I called someone and like made sure. And so there have been a couple folks that have
really done their due diligence, and we've gotten to eat some delicious things. But there have been more than once that we've had a plate set down in front of us and they said, enjoy. And we looked at it and said,
That's
nah.
cheese.
And they've had to then double check and take it away. And we found out after the fact that the sliced bread that they make on board that is so good and so spongy is made with dairy.
Because at some point, you no longer trust that, oh, when somebody has figured out a good solution, that good solution is actually possible. You begin to think that they've just made a mistake.
I do feel a little woozy just from motion sickness, but do I feel a little woozy because they've been feeding me microdoses of dairy?
The pizza would not
Possible.
be a microdose.
No, that was all the cheese.
But until we prove otherwise, we have to kind of assume it's real.
But at the end of the day, we want to give you guys good resources. And especially if any of you are coming with a serious allergy or celiac, we want you to know whether or not this is a trustworthy cruise line to travel on. And initially we were so excited about it. And now we're having some hiccups that are really like, I feel like I'm having a personal crisis. Still working on figuring out where that all lands. Does anyone else do this? When you think that maybe you ate something you're not supposed to, you make sure you get every last supplement you have. Take all the probiotics, all the digestive enzymes. Try to mitigate it if you can.
After an evening of dancing the night away at Scarlet Night, we were famished and ready to challenge the pizza place to a rematch. We watched them like a hawk while they reached into the vegan cheese bin and made our pizza.
Now do you feel bad?
I don't know. Maybe I ranted for nothing. Maybe it really is right. How is a vegan cheese this stretchy? I don't understand. This is sorcery. It's 12:20 on Scarlet Night, and we are on the hunt for late night snacks. You know what? The ice cream place should be open. Even if it's not open late any other night, Scarlet Night, it should be open late. That's just a personal opinion. But I can't complain right now. Because I found out Santa Claus does exist, and that was the vegan cheese. And I have to eat crow. I was so wrong. I don't understand how. But that vegan pizza, my mind is blown.